say, I want Josh Taylor and get the Josh Taylor fight because he's age bro. That's it. So anybody on that pipeline. Right now say, I want Josh Taylor and get the Josh Taylor fight because he's age bro. That's it. So anybody on that pipeline right now, that's a big deal.
I talked his ass, but the same day that James Tony came and signed the contract.
Wow.
So I'm talking to both of them on the phones like this. Look, I got Zab on one phone, I got James on one phone.
What is Crawford going to do before? He's going to beat Sean. Everybody listen, he's going to beat Sean. He's going to beat Sean. He's going to beat Sean.
Mike Lewis is the perfect example of what I'm talking about.
Yo. Welcome to Let's Talk Sports, y'all. Man, we got a lot to unpack. I was gonna start in the NBA. But I think I'm gonna start with boxing, since who in here first. If we got to do is the boxing people in here or my NBA regular sports people in here. But anyway, we're gonna start with boxing because I hear it's a lot being said about what happened this weekend in the ring, starting with Times Square, or what was supposed to be Times Square, or what was made of a Times Square. All I hear is a lot of backlash from the events. So so at the end of the day, let's get it popping. First of all, we had three major fights in Madison Square Garden of what was supposed to be made of it. A lot of people complaining because a lot of people it didn't have the Times Square effect. Basically, they were just fighting it's like fighting in a bubble or playing, being in a bubble. I'm not coming for Turkey or whoever put the event together, whether it was The Zone, whether it was Golden Boy, whoever put it together. I'm not coming for that. I'm just saying this is the backlash that people are putting out there. But anyway, other than the TO fight, with Barbosa, a lot of people was really taken back by the performances by, in the two. Okay, everybody was supposed to be a main event, but the co-main event and the main event, mainly the co-main event, when they pretty much people are saying, now look, I'm perplexed about this. I'm not trying to defend Devin's performance, but I'm kind of confused because when we have fighters that come forward and try to be all action, people complain and say, well, they get hit too easy. They just brawling. And then when people box, everybody's complaining and they saying, well, they run too much. That's neither here nor there. Now, truthfully, was I entertained by any fight that happened on Friday or Saturday? No, but not every fight is meant to be entertaining. Not to me, but I understand with the backlash. Now let's break down these fights for a minute and what actually happened. T.O. was aggressive. T.O. did what he had to do to get the win. They tried to rumble, but okay, he got the W. And the Devin Haney fight, what a lot of people are taken aback about it, two things happened. Ramirez wasn't really able to cut the ring off, and Devin wasn't really doing too much offense. As the fight went on, he started to mount a little bit more offense, but it was still more defense, more moving than offense. He did what he had to do to win. In his case, I'm gonna give him a pass and just say, hey, you know what? Maybe he went through a rough fight with Ryan. Really, really rough fight for Ryan. And many people may say he was maybe too cautious or doing too much moving, too much lack of engagement for the Ramirez fight for their liking. But at the end of the day, he got the W, and we would have been able to move on. But what happened in the main event? It looked like Ryan got popped by a good shot early from Rolly, and he did not want to get hit by whatever Rolly hit him with early in the fight again. And he made and out of everybody that fought that fought on these cards, it made it look like Rolly was the only one that came to boogie. You know what I mean? Other than Tio and Barbosa, of course. But in the co-main event and the main event, it looked like Rolly was the only one that came to get down. And shout out to Rolly. Rolly, actually, this is the first time I actually listened to a Rolly interview, and it was like, you know what? You did all right this time, bro. You beat Ryan, and he didn't talk all, crazy or reckless at the end. He basically, he was stand up this time. So I don't know, man. Rolly did what he had to do to get the win. Rolly was trying to make a fight out of it. And and a lot of people are not gonna like what I'm about to say, but I think Ryan and Devin should still fight. Despite Devin's lack of engagement and Ryan's lack of win, they got a grudge match. Let Rolly move on, because I don't really want to see Rolly versus Devin. I don't. I'm not interested in that fight at all. I'm not interested in Rolly versus Devin. It's just something about that fight that's not appealing to me. You know what I mean? Based on what I just saw. I mean, is he going to engage with Rolly? Because clearly Rolly's packing a punch. And Ryan felt that punch. Ryan went to the cameras off that punch, and Ryan did not want to engage, with him anymore after that punch. So, I mean, I don't know if I really want to see, Rolly chase. And I'm not saying it to be disrespectful, but I don't know if I want to see Rolly basically chase Devin around the ring and try to force him into something, because he definitely looked like he's cracking harder than Ramirez. So if you didn't stand there with Ramirez, I'd seriously doubt if you would really engage in a fight with Rolly. So I don't want to see Rolly. Let the grudge match happen. Let Ryan, even though Ryan lost, let Ryan and Devin go ahead and settle their thing, and let Rolly move on to whoever he want to fight. You know what I mean? He earned another ticket to the dance. And Teofimo, he called out Boots. I don't believe it, but we'll get to that another time. Shout out to those guys. Then we got the Saturday night. And first we had Bakoli and Effie Ajaba. A lot of people think Effie won. No. I thought, I ain't gonna lie, Effie did look good. I will say that. Effie did look good. And Bakoli looked like he's still having a little bit of the hangover of whatever happened when he took that 24-hour fight with Joseph Parker. You know what I mean? So, we'll let that be. But the main event with Canelo and Scuff, I don't want to say the dude's wrong, but I mean, now here's what I'm taking back about on that fight. I know a lot of people are going on a whim for just basically moving around the ring the entire fight, which they got a right to do that. But also, what I'm a little perplexed about and have a problem with is the fact that Canelo couldn't cut the ring off. We both got a job to do. Yes, you're getting paid a lot of money, and you expect them to come there to try to beat the champion and win the fight. That's true. But as a champion, you should be able to cut that ring off and force something to happen. And to be honest with you, it kind of it looked like a Laura. It looked like a Laura fight. It looked like, if we were scoring it, how we supposed to score it. Because Canelo did nothing Saturday night. Canelo did absolutely nothing. Yes, the guy wasn't trying to fight. Yes, the guy did a whole bunch of running. Yes, he did more defensive than fighting, but Canelo didn't do anything. So, which leads me to the next point. I'm one of the few, and I'm not hating, but I'm not excited about the Bud Crawford Canelo fight. I'm not amped up about it. It's to me, and I respect the Bud. I do believe Bud coming to win. I do believe trying to do his thing, but I think they putting this fight together just like this is like a money grab. You know what I mean? So I guess as the fight gets closer and I look at the training camps and all that, Bud do look taller than Canelo. He do look like he can bulk up and handle. And Canelo's not a real 168 pounder anyway. So I don't know. I don't know what the winner of this fight would really, what it means for it. I'm just not happy. I'm sorry. I'm not one of the few I'm not excited about the Canelo Bud fight. Maybe it'll grow on me, but right now it's not something that I am amped up about. You feel me? I'm not like, oh yeah, man, this is the fight. No, it just ain't. It just ain't. We're gonna move on to the NBA. I get back to boxing. If the boxing, the DC people got, or the boxing group got something to ask, but I'm gonna get on. Starting with the mid of the week, we had two of the top guys, or two of the Goliaths in the NBA. Get bounced out of there. Which was, first we're gonna start with Ant-Man and them winning 4-1 against the LA Lakers, getting they eliminated Braun and Luka. And for those that are saying this takes a shot at LeBron's legacy, stop. No, it don't. No, it don't. Man, the man been in the league 22 years. If what he did in his 22nd year, does something to his legacy, I don't know whose legacy will stand the test of time then, because not many people are playing at this level 22nd year in the league. So yeah, they got bounced. He's starting to show his little bit of age. If anything, Luka, you're gonna have to do something. But Luka's had great playoff runs. He didn't get it done this year. New team, got traded in the middle of the year. I think we just got to see what happens with them and let them build a little bit more. But I'm not gonna really on Luka or LeBron. Then we got Giannis getting dropped off by Giannis and the Bucks getting dropped off by Indy. They also lost 4-1, and I didn't quite. Okay, we're gonna touch this in a second. Now Giannis balled out, and that's pretty much the only thing that's his saving grace in terms of his status, because he did ball out. He averaged like 30 a game. He was definitely killing out there. Now, most people, Dame getting hurt, I'm gonna give him a slight pass. I wanna really go at Giannis because all the stuff, but I'm gonna let it go. He lost 4-1. Dame got hurt, and what Tyrese Halliburton father did at the end of the game is uncalled for. But here's the thing. Here's the problem. Social media and everybody, we done let a lot of stuff slide, and now a lot of things that's happening in sports that shouldn't be happening in sports are happening. You know what I mean? There's nowhere in the world that after a series that somebody, a Giannis status, should have somebody walking up to his face yelling anything. That's just an absolute no. I don't care who it is. I don't care who that person is. If they not on the Indiana Pacers or the Milwaukee Bucks or a member of the NBA staff, that shouldn't be happening. You know what I mean? So that shouldn't be happening. And I don't want to bash his daddy and all that. And then his daddy get online and say it wasn't what we thought it was. I don't know what you trying to tell us, but we know what we saw. You know what I mean? But anyway, Indy went on and got Giannis out of there, and they also went on to win game 1 in Cleveland last night. I was kind of stunned by that. You know what I mean? Tyrese Halliburton is coming into his own. That Indy team, young squad, feisty squad, they looking like a real tough out. They looking like a real tough out. You know what I mean? Because they put out Giannis and Milwaukee last year. So that's 2 years in a row that they bumped off Milwaukee. So yeah, that's something to pay attention to. Then we got to get to Denver drops off LA by like 33. And once again, big game James Harden. One of the things that's never going to escape his legacy is it seems like no matter where he was at, no matter who he played with, when the lights got the brightest, he didn't deliver. 7 points in game 7 when they needed him the most. I know he's long. I know he got a lot of years in the NBA and, getting a little older now. And, unfortunately in sports now, I mean, in the new age sports, his legacy might be all right. But for those of us that still holding on to the old standards of greatness, sheesh. Yeah. Game 7 points, all these years, scoring titles, MVPs, no chip. It is what it is. So then Kawhi legacy, he got 2 chips. So that's the only thing keeping him glued up. It's the second time Denver dropped off Kawhi in a game 7. Last time he did it, he had Paul George. But it's the second time they got dropped off by Denver in a game 7. So, His legacy is intact because he got 2 championships. But outside of that, outside of what he did when he was already, on a championship team in San Antonio, that 1 year in Toronto, ever since that 1 year in Toronto, yeah, either he ain't playing or they ain't winning. You make the call on that. You make the call on that. You know what I'm saying? Then last night, people was like, this is a legacy game for Steph Curry. No, it's not. You know what I mean? No, it's not, man. Man got 4 championships, been there 7 times. His legacy is not in question. He can either add to his legacy or his legacy stay the same, but nothing detracts from their legacy anymore. Him and LeBron and players who already got their stuff, so that you can't detract from their legacy. Their legacy is intact. It's either you're going to add to it or it stay the same. And that's pretty much all that is. But they was able to, and he wasn't even the main guy last night. You know what I mean? Buddy was shooting. You know what I mean? I really felt bad for Houston last night because last night was a very winnable game. It looked like the moment just was too big for them. They had a couple young fellas showed that they got some promise though. They got a couple young players on the team. They showed that hey, they're gonna be a force to reckon with in time to come. So I mean, yeah, it's a lot of little young ballers out there, but they came up a little short. Unfortunately, though, but definitely fought like champions. They definitely fought hard, but they came up a little short. And the experience of Jimmy Butler, the experience of Steph and Draymond was just a little too much for them last night, and they will advance. I'm gonna get to my picks for the second round. Is that it for the first round? That was it for the first round, right? Because Cleveland blew through their series before they lost last night. OKC blew through their series. They waiting on Denver. They play Denver tonight. The Knicks won Game 7. So, yeah, let's get to these matchups. Start with the East. Right now, Indiana is up 1-0 on Cleveland. Shocking to me. I'm await. I'm still going with Cleveland. But clearly, right now, it looked like that series could go either way since they already stole 1 game on the road, which basically gives them home court advantage for the rest of the series. It's interesting. I'm still going with Cleveland, but I'm gonna watch this series very closely. It clearly looked like it could go either way. Now, I got Boston doing what they got to do with the Knicks. Knicks is a good feel-good story. They balled out. They played. Love Jalen Brunson, but I think Boston is just Boston just is a little too much for New York. So I got Boston winning that series 4-1, maybe 4-2. 4-1, 4-2 at the most. But I got Boston taking that one. Now to the big boys. OKC and Denver. Sheesh. I like OKC. I like what OKC doing. They're young. The only question I got, do they mature? Because their first round matchup wasn't really much of a matchup. So are they mature enough? Because Denver is a championship team, a team that has won a championship. And right now, the things that they did to win a championship, they're starting to do now. With a little bit of an added energy coming from Russell Westbrook. You know what I mean? Michael Porter Jr. is balling out. Jamal Murray looked like Jamal Murray of a few years ago. Joker's Joker. This is going to be an interesting series. I'm going with Denver. In this series. I want to be wrong. You know what I mean? It's one of those series where you wish both of them can win because I really like SGH and, want to see what he, what he's going to become. Is it SGA or SCH? I'm sorry. Shea Gilchrist, though. I know who he is. Maybe I got the acronym wrong. But yeah, so I want to see both of them win, but I'm gonna go with the champion. In the Golden State Minnesota series, hit me good. I got Minnesota. And I got Minnesota 4-1. I got Minnesota 4-1. 4-2 at the most, but I got Minnesota. I got Ant-Man going to the Western Conference Finals again. I got Ant-Man getting Golden State out of there. And if that happens, that means Ant-Man has came alive and done took out KD and Booker. He done took out LeBron and Luka. And now Steph and Jimmy Butler. Ant-Man is definitely showing everybody that he's trying to, cement the fact that this is his time now and it's his turn. And I'm not saying he's this guy, but he is doing some MJ type stuff. Not saying they're on the same level. I'm not saying he's Michael Jordan, because as soon as you say that, oh my God, he said Ant-Man's Michael Jordan. But he is playing with that mentality. He do got that Michael Jordan Mamba mentality. He doing his thing. He doing his thing, man. You know what I'm saying? And I cannot take that from Ant-Man. That's why I'm going with Ant-Man. And I just think that with the thing that's really going to see last night, here's what happened. Houston was able to control the boards against Golden State, but their bigs wasn't able to really contribute point-wise. They was missing a lot of layups. They wasn't, whenever they wasn't like right underneath the basket, they wasn't able to produce the meaningful points, do the meaningful things that was necessary to win. And that's, to me, where the game was lost. You know what I mean? Now, I do believe Minnesota's bigs can control the paint a lot better, a lot more, such as how Houston was able to do it, but their bigs are going to score. Like Julius Randle is going to put points on the board, and I think Rudy Gobert can give you some points too. Just they wasn't getting much production, not last night, from the Houston bigs, but I think the Minnesota bigs can do more. And I think Ant-Man is just going to go crazy in this series. I think Ant-Man is going to go crazy in this series, and I look forward to see how that go. Because in the end, I'm looking for what I want to see happen. I want to see Minnesota versus the Boston Celtics in the finals. Ant-Man versus Jason Tatum for the battle to see who is the top young ball of the league. You know what I mean? Which right now got to be JT. Now, let's get to the WNBA. I'll go back to some of the other stuff and anything, and those in the comment section if y'all want to pop a comment about, what you saw in the fights this weekend, what fight stood out to you. Oh, how did I forget? Speaking of that, last night, the only fight of the weekend that I think everybody was completely satisfied with was Monster Inoue. That was one heck of a fight. He got caught with a left hook in the second round and got put down, and it did look like he was a little bit buzzed. He kept his composure. Did what he had to do, the fight. And then in the next round, he come out and he commenced just fighting and kept breaking down the guy. And it looked like in the beginning, for a while that though, he was taking Monster's punch, it looked like it. And dude was coming back with some nice solid shots. But no matter what dude was doing, Monster Inoue weathered the storm. And he was able to not only, figure out the punch that was landing on him, he started to minimize that punch from landing, and he kind of took that punch away. So yeah, shout out to Monster Inoue. I see a lot of people hating on Monster Inoue today, and after watching all the other fights this weekend, I don't know how or why Monster Inoue will be the fight that you have a problem with the most, because yes, he got hit, yes, he got dropped, but he's fighting in a larger weight class, getting hit by bigger guys. That happens. And he's willing to fight these guys. And for those that don't know, he showed me in other fights that he can box when he need to box. He's the total package. I don't know why they're hating on him. I was one of the people that doubted him in the beginning, but like I tell anybody, I'm man enough to admit that I was wrong about somebody. Like if I'm wrong about somebody, I'm just wrong, and my praise will be as loud as my criticism, which is how it's supposed to be. Which when I get to this next topic, is one of the things people got to just learn to do. It's okay. You don't have to like a player to give them their credit. You know what I mean? You don't have to like a fighter to give them their credit. You don't have to like a player to give them their credit. You know what I mean? It just happens over and over and over and over. People got their picks. So let's get to it. The WNBA preseason started this weekend. And the first game out the gate was the Dallas Wings, the debut of Paige Beckers, along with Arika Rubinwale and Dejanay Carrington and Alyssa Smith and so forth. So they came out there and it was a law against the Las Vegas Aces. And the Aces went on and put on a masterful performance. Of course, everybody was in awe saying Asia, how good Asia looked, and how good Jackie Young did, because they did their thing. Jackie had 28, Asia had 19. Jewel was looking pretty good, but the young rookie, Miss Nye, was showing her shooting ability and her range, and I can tell you right now, she is going to be a problem. She is a natural born shooter and a natural born scorer, which for any team, no matter who the team is, that is a breath of fresh air. So she was lighting things up. Tiffany Mitchell looked great. You know what I mean? The only question I got about the Aces is nothing against Kia Stokes, but I just wanted another big in the paint. And I don't know what's going with Megan Gustafson. But even she's a small big. She's a small big. You know what I mean? When they get against the Minnesotas of the world and the New York Liberty, they're gonna need both of their bigs because New York uses both of their bigs. Jonquel Jones and Breonna Stewart, they use two bigs. So you're gonna need two bigs. You know what I mean? Because either one of them you switch off is going to be a problem. So, but one thing for sure, two things for certain: the Las Vegas Aces are going to be able to score because they have shooters everywhere. They got scores all over the field. They got passes. They got scores. So the Aces are going to look like they're good. On the flip side, of course, everybody wants to fry Paige, say Paige what Paige did or didn't do in her debut, but well, kind of she got it. You know what? I know what they're going to say. Didn't nobody say that about Caitlin when she was going against the New York Liberty, Connecticut, and all the top teams she played in the beginning of the year? And that's valid. Paige had a decent night. Wasn't a great night, but she had a decent night. You know what I mean? She's going to have to go through some of the growing pains that many of us did, and we'll see how she do. But I do like that Dallas squad. Some things I see they got to work on. They need another big, but I like the Dallas squad. I think they're going to be able to win some games. Then let's get to what happened in Indy. All right, so the Mystics played the Indiana Fever, and it was an eventful game. In the beginning, it looked like the Mystics was going to have their way with them. Minus Caitlin Clark, she did not play. Kelsey Mitchell didn't have her best shooting outing. Some of the other players, the chemistry just was clearly off, right? And so Sophie Cunningham, who was acquired by the Indiana Fever, and they brought her there to be somewhat of what you call an enforcer or somebody that's going to be like a defender of the, she's going to battle. Well, she got into a little slight situation, not a slight situation, but she got into a situation with Kiki Afarian, rookie for the Washington Mystics. And all kinds of bells and whistles have gone on since that play happened. Well, this is what we know. Right? So this is how it is. Sophie Cunningham, for those that don't know, has a reputation of getting in the dust-ups with various players. And if you go to YouTube and just put in Sophie Cunningham, you'll see a whole assortment of videos of her getting into dust-ups. And it didn't, no matter who it is, many different players, just the type of player she is. She's a rugged, come-to-play player. She's a tough. That's how it goes. There are players like that in the league. There are players like that in basketball, in every league, college, pro, and in the women, she's one of them. And she's not by herself. There's many of them that do it. But they do little subtle things that, unless you just somebody that, if you don't know basketball, you don't quite know, or you're not used to playing, I would say, you don't know what's happening. But what happens is they like Aaliyah Boston do it too. Aaliyah Boston do it. It's a few players in the league that do it. You know what I mean? The young lady that played for the Chicago Sky, Kia Nurse, she's another one that does it. Skylar Diggins does it. Sometimes CZ do it. But what it is what happened is she comes down and she kind of hooks her arm around Kiki. And for those that don't know, when players do that while you're trying to jump, it kind of you can tweak your shoulder like that. And it's also like it's a little gamemanship, but it's a game within the game. The kind of way of your way, of kind of picking on the player, so to speak. So when Kiki was on her way down from that, she used her strength to throw Sophie. Was that right? No. But what Kiki was doing, she's sending a message to Sophie and pretty much every player in the league that that's not going to fly with her. That's the statement that was made. You know what I mean? That's not going to fly. See what I'm saying? So Kiki was basically standing up for herself. People are going to look at it somehow she was violently trying to hurt Sophie. No, she wasn't. She was sending a message not to play those type of games with her. You know, and I like that. And I like that. I'm sorry. I mean, nobody's trying to see nobody get hurt. We don't want to see the people getting tossed around the court and all that. That's not what we applauding. But if we are going to get into that type of gamemanship where you're going to be, you know, the grabbing of the arms and the little sneaky bows and all that, then you got to get what come with it. And what Kiki was showing is that's not going to be me. Y'all not going to pick on me in this league. I'm here to play ball, but if y'all want to get down, I can get down. That's what Kiki was showing. Now the Slim, Brittany Sykes and Sophie, they was having their own thing. They have a history of going at one another. And I guess, you know, they just picked up where they left off. Brittany Sykes is not one that is new to dust ups, and neither is Sophie. She threw her down. Her and DeWanna Bonner got into it. It's basketball. That's how they play it, man. I mean, last night, Van Fleet slid Jimmy Butler across the floor. It's happening. It's basketball. You know what I mean? But I gotta say, I'm not gonna get into it this year. But whenever it comes to this particular team, everybody act like everybody's trying to attack them and all that. It's basketball. But at the same time, I do want that team and its fans to realize that if your players are going to do that kind of stuff, they got to take what come with it. We're not excusing what Slim did, or we're not excusing what Kiki did, but that comes with it. I and my partner will be covering that game on May 28th, the regular season game between the Indiana Fever and the Washington Mystics, and I can't wait. You know, because the Fever has big expectations. You know, they saying Caitlin Clark gonna be the MVP this year. And they got championship aspirations. But I'm gonna tell y'all something, and I stand on this, and I'm gonna coin this now. If Shakira Austin and Leah Edwards play in that game, they are going to spank the Indiana Fever. I told y'all first. I can't wait for that game. I can't wait for that game because you know they didn't. Everybody gonna, you know, of course, they didn't play the other day, but neither did Shakira Austin or Leah Edwards. They changed the whole dynamic of the game. You know what I mean? Because both of them are two young, dynamic post players that can get busy and they can cause major problems for any team. And they very good at defense. Because if you look at all the top players in the league, Asia, B. Collier, Breonna Stewart, Jonquil Jones, Alyssa Thomas, all of the top players, they struggled against the Mystics. They struggled against the Mystics. The Mystics didn't win a lot of games last year because of injuries. But all the top ball players later on in the year, when them girls was there, yeah, they struggled against them. Chicago Sky, they played the same Brazil team that Indiana Fever beat them. I think Indiana beat them by like 60 or 70 yesterday. And you know, and the night before, 2 nights before that, Chicago beat them, I think, by like almost 30. So, you know, both teams look good against Brazil. Indiana looked a lot better, of course, and they meet game 1. But like I said, that's going to be an interesting matchup as well. You know what I mean? That's going to be an interesting matchup as well. Talk to me in the comment section. What y'all want to talk about? Boxing, NBA. Of course, you know, I had to get my WNBA in there, but, you know, just want to know what y'all got on your mind today. What y'all think of the fights? Was you impressed? Who you picked to win the NBA Finals? I want to say it's going to be interesting. All of these series now in the playoffs are nice. We got to the coup de grace. No more easy matchups. Everybody got a bump. Indiana done showed that they worthy to be in there with Cleveland. Can the Knicks do that tonight? I doubt it. 4-1, 4-2 at the most. 4-1, 4-1. I got Minnesota over Golden State. I got Denver. I got Denver over OKC. So it'll be Denver and Minnesota in their rematch. Then it may be Might end up being Indiana and Boston again in the Eastern Conference Finals. But talk to me. Was y'all satisfied with what you saw in the boxing ring? Boxing is in a funny place. Do you want to see Bud versus Canelo? I do not, but I understand those that do. You know what I mean? If you're a WNBA fan, who do you pick? I'm going to be honest. It's too early to say, but I need to see a whole lot more because I'm just not seeing where everybody's saying Indiana just going to run away with the lead. I don't see it. I don't. Not even, and they look amazing yesterday. They won by 7. They look amazing. The chemistry clearly. Caitlin Clark changed the entire dynamic of the team. She changed the entire chemistry of the team. No question. No question. She's not my concern. She's not the concern. I'm concerned about everybody else when they start playing the bigger, better teams. What happens when they get out there and them teams that can control the paint, them teams that can run the floor? What happens? You're not getting wide open layups, and now your shots is contested. Or it's a night that she's not dropping, big points, or Kelsey Mitchell not. But what happens on those nights? Who can step up? You know what I mean? And are they really going to be ready? Like I said, it's a lot of good teams out there to just say one team. I'm not predicting nobody to win it. I just know it's a lot of teams out there that can win it. And we got to see who's healthy and win. But like I said, man, just to say they just going to run away with it and this is automatically a championship season, I think y'all setting this girl up for a bruising. You know what I'm saying? Not in a way of nobody harming. I'm just saying, yeah. I mean, it's championship or bust. It's championship or bust. It's championship or bust for Indiana. It's championship or bust for Minnesota. It's championship or bust for Las Vegas. It's championship or bust for New York. It's championship or bust for LA and Atlanta. All of these teams and Phoenix. All of these teams are championship or bust. Big facts. Big facts. You know what I mean? It's like 6 teams that's championship or bust. Yes, sir. Just like in the NBA playoffs. The only team that's left that get a pass is the Knicks in Indiana. Everybody else is championship or bust. You know what I mean? It's championship or bust. But I like the young Mystics team. They're going to get a lot of criticism. They're going to get bashed because of what happened the other day in Indiana. But I like this young Mystics team. I just want to see what they look like with Shakira and Aaliyah. I want to see what they look like with Shakira and Aaliyah on the floor. Like I said, I already know they're going to be a problem for a lot of people. Do I think they're going to play off this year? Maybe not. But they're going to be a tough out. And that move, I thought Seattle had lost a lot of people, Seattle's a little sneaky team too. See that Gabby Marshall. They got Gabby, Skylar, Dominique Malonga, Necker, Alicia Cox. They might be in the mix out though. Phoenix got Khalil Cabo, Satu, Alyssa Thomas. Yeah. Atlanta got Brianna, Brittany Griner, Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray. There's some squads out there. Some real squads out there. So it's going to be interesting to see who does what. You know what I mean? But all I'm going to say about the WNBA, the toxic warfare never stopped throughout the all season, and there's already got tear gas on it already, man. But I'm not going to spend much time, and I'm just going to call the games how I see it. I'm going to report what I see. Y'all going to see us at the games. You're going to see us on the sidelines. You're going to see us up close and personal. Like I said, my first WNBA game that I'm covering will be the Mystics versus the Indiana Fever. So Definitely gonna be in the building for that one, and I think the Mystics gonna win. You know, and I'm gonna leave that there. So with that being said, man, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Be blessed, and be back tomorrow with some boxing talks. We gotta get deep down into what's going on with boxing. A lot of people was really upset with this weekend. You know, other than the Monster Inouye fight, but the Monster Inouye fight, he got haters, and he had the best performance. Not getting it. But with that being said, man, if you have not done so, please like and subscribe to the Let's Talk Sports Show, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Like and subscribe to the YouTube if nothing else. You know what I mean? We're going to give you more up close and personal inside the arena, inside the gym, inside the workout content. And we're going to just continue to build. You know what I mean? Shout out to Boxing in DC. Shout out to all my guys out there in the Black Eye Media Room. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. And y'all be blessed, man. We be back on the next one.